But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress.
Wallace.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I don't think anyone saw this one coming.
Dave Chappelle is finally breaking his silence on the wild rumors that Kevin Hart might have sold his soul for that Hollywood fame. And according to folks close to Dave, he seriously thinks Kevin would have never hit the big time unless he agreed to do some shady stuff he once swore he'd never touch. Both Dave and Kevin are comedy kings, no doubt. But here's the difference. Dave's always been real about the dark corners of Hollywood and how the industry tried to break him. He's spoken up for years about powerful people pulling strings behind the scenes, trying to control what he said, how he acted, and even how he dressed.
Dave Chappelle, another great comedian, said that, you know, in the industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts, and is that something that, you know, you wouldn't do, you know, for
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries.
Kevin, on the other hand, he's one of the hardest working comics in the game. But let's be honest, work ethic alone doesn't guarantee you worldwide stardom. So how did Kevin blow up so fast? Some say Dave's hinting at a deeper, dirtier truth, that Hollywood rewards the ones who are willing to clown themselves for the spotlight. Here's where it gets real. There's been this long-standing theory floating around. People say that a lot of black male entertainers get asked to wear a dress on screen before they're allowed to make it. Sounds crazy? Maybe, but there's definitely a pattern that's hard to ignore. What's even more messed up is how these roles often have them playing over-the-top, cartoonish versions of black women, feeding into old, ugly stereotypes. And if you're paying attention, you'll see it's mostly black comedians being put in these roles, way more than their white counterparts. And this isn't just some rumor off the internet. Plenty of successful black actors have gone on record saying they were pressured to wear a dress even when it made zero.
Because my name and likeness is being used by them in perpetuity throughout the universe. It's in the contract.
No sense for the scene. And guess who's one of them? Dave Chappelle himself. Back in 2005, Dave shocked everybody when he turned down a $50 million deal with Comedy Central and vanished. Straight up dipped to South Africa without a word. The media went wild, throwing out all kinds of wild stories, saying he was using drugs, having a breakdown, or losing his mind. But when Dave finally came back, he cleared it all up on Oprah. He said it wasn't about the money, it was about what came with the money. There were strings attached, and he wasn't about to play puppet for anybody. Dave Chappelle once broke it down. One of the biggest reasons he walked away from that $50 million Comedy Central deal was because he saw what really goes down when entertainers try to level up in Hollywood. And what he saw? It was disturbing. When Oprah pressed him to explain what exactly he was being asked to do, Dave said they wanted him to create sketches that felt socially irresponsible. Stuff designed to make people laugh at him, not with him. He could feel the setup from a mile away. But that wasn't the only bomb he dropped. Dave also touched on that infamous theory about black entertainers being pushed to wear dresses before they're allowed to make it.
What do you want, Shanae?
Oh my goodness. If it isn't Little Miss Attitude, why are you always over here?
And he shared a moment from when he was shooting a movie with Martin Lawrence that had him raising serious red flags.
Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
Well, I wasn't walking away from the money.
Yeah.
I was walking away from the circumstances that were coming with the newfound plateau.
Here's where it gets wild. Dave straight up said he didn't feel right wearing a dress for the scene. But the people behind the scenes weren't having it. The writers and producers kept pressing him, saying, all the greats did it. Like that was supposed to change his mind. That's when things clicked for Dave. This wasn't some one-time thing. It felt like a pattern, a setup, something deeper. And get this, they were so ready for pushback that they had two versions of the script prepared. One with the dress and one without. That alone told Dave everything he needed to know. He saw it as a warning to other actors. Stand your ground or you'll get pushed around. Now you might be asking, what's this got to do with Kevin Hart? Well, let's rewind to 2013. Kevin showed up in a Saturday Night Live skit, wearing a dress. Fans were stunned, especially since Kevin had once said he'd never do anything like that.
I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay. When you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Just a year earlier, Kevin had a tiny role in the 5-year engagement. While doing press for the movie, Blacktree TV asked him straight up about Dave's take on black actors being pressured to cross-dress.
Sounds like somebody's trying to put young Dave in a compromising position. Oprah.
Kevin laughed nervously, dodged the question, and just said he agreed with Dave about setting boundaries and protecting your brand. But then, boom, next thing you know, Kevin's on SNL in a dress.
Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on. And, what? This prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in.
Fans weren't having it. They felt betrayed. They said he flipped his stance and caved in just to chase the fame. And yeah, Kevin was already known before that skit, but the real doors started flying open after that SNL moment. The timing had people side-eyeing everything. Right after Kevin Hart showed up in that SNL skit wearing a dress, his career shot through the roof. Suddenly, he was landing huge roles in major films like Get Hard with Will Ferrell, The Wedding Ringer, Central Intelligence with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and even Jumanji. The man was everywhere. He didn't stop there. Kevin launched his own production company, Heartbeat Productions, and by 2018, he had locked in a deal with Nickelodeon. But here's the kicker. That same year, Kevin publicly admitted he had cheated on his wife, Iniku Parrish, while she was pregnant with their son. You'd think that kind of confession would tank someone's image, right? But nope, not Kevin.
Now the producers come on, David, would be so great. I mean, and then I started thinking about it. All the comics that I've seen, man, you know, strong brothers, why they be putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant, I'm not wearing a dress, I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine, think of something else. Guy comes back 10 minutes later.
His career didn't slow down one bit. From 2018 to 2022, Kevin was raking it in. He starred in 8 big-budget films, landed deals with Facebook, Peacock, and YouTube, hosted major events and award shows, and appeared in tons of commercials. Now compare that to how Dave Chappelle was treated. When he said no to a shady contract, the media tried to destroy him. They threw every rumor in the book at him, called him unstable.
The new pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee, Kevin Wallace.
Wow. Wow. I don't think anyone saw this one coming.
People said he was on drugs, tried to paint him as crazy, just because he stood up for his principles. This whole situation says a lot about how Hollywood really works. It's not about talent or morals, it's about money and control. If you follow the rules and play the game, they'll reward you. But if you step out of line, they'll make an example out of you. So who are these people pulling the string?
Dave Chappelle, another great comedian, said that, you know, in the industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts? And is that something that, you know, you wouldn't do, you know, for
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. You know, for me, I know what they are. They've yet to been challenged, so, you know, I don't have to speak on them. I was asked to dribble a basketball on the talk show this morning.
You look good no doing
it. Not that was a dress, but I was like, no, I'm gonna look stupid. You know, at the end of the day, you got to know that you're a brand. I'm a brand. You need to protect your brand at all times. When things happen that can possibly affect your brand, your brand can be diminished, and you don't want that to happen. So, protecting my brand is definitely a priority.
What do you think? Did Kevin Hart cross the line and sell out for the fame, or is all of this just part of the game? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more content just like this. And don't forget to hit that bell so you never miss an update. See you on the next one.
Doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. End quote.
No one knows for sure, but comedians like Cat Williams have been saying for years that Hollywood is run by a secret society. When someone asked Cat about Kevin's SNL dress moment, he didn't hold back. He said this type of thing's been happening forever, and Kevin's just another name on the list. Cat even said that folks like him and Dave Chappelle will never reach Kevin's level of fame because they refuse to play ball with that secret circle behind the scenes. And it gets deeper. Cat warned that the ones running the entertainment world are way more dangerous than people think.
It's not necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung 1,000,000 times. I didn't understand that. They had to sting me 1,000,000 times. I'm still not going to join, but I respect it a little.
He said he had to get stung 1,000,000 times before he truly realized what kind of people he was dealing with. When asked why he let the media tear him down, Cat said he didn't really have a choice. Once you start talking about the shady stuff in Hollywood, there's a price to pay, and staying quiet, sometimes that's the only way to survive. So, did Kevin Hart really blow up just because he wore a dress? It's hard to say for sure. No doubt, Kevin's got talent and he's put in serious work over the years. But people close to Dave Chappelle have always said Dave felt uneasy about how obsessed Kevin seemed with chasing success, like he'd do anything to get ahead. And these days,
your mouth is really, really big and you try to tell the truth for a living and you like to air people out, hatred is coming your way.
It's about how far someone's willing to go for money and fame. The dress isn't what's humiliating, it's the fact that he let go of his own boundaries to wear it. That's the real issue. That hits hard. Some people still hope Kevin can find his way back to the mindset he had when he first came up. The one where he stood on his beliefs and kept his standards high, no matter what the industry threw at him. But now, it's your turn to weigh in.